Hey, welcome in. FG here. So I don't usually try and do pours during the week, but I happen to have a open night here Wednesday night. So if you recall, I was trying to pour this one and it just didn't really do it justice. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm gonna go big on this one because of the fine lines. This is the size I was printing. This is the size I'm going to print now. Basically about 3 times the size. So we'll see if we get these lines in it. It kind of reminded me of a Beskar bar. So we'll see after it tones what it'll end up looking like. So that's going to be a big one. And then I have a special project bar. I'm not going to show the front of this one right now. But I'm trying something new. I'm going to actually print the fineness and serial number on the back of it, kind of like I'm casting in our logo. So this is a special 1 of 1 bar that I'm doing, and this is what I really wanted to do tonight. So trying to get this one done. I'll get it into the mold and we'll be back shortly. So I forgot to say, one of the reasons I was delayed was this was my crucible I was using, and this piece here, you can see it finally, it cracked all the way through there, and this piece was about ready to come apart when it was red hot. So I really had to wait for a new crucible to come in, and it just came in, and I got it through the burn-in in the oven, so we're ready to go with the new crucible. Well, I'm actually getting pretty close to done with this bag of sand. I'm gonna have to be getting a new bag in here soon, but let's get the sand into the mold here on top and we'll get it going. I'll actually shortcut corners where I can. If I've already put stuff together, I know the bar's not that far down, so I'm just gonna kind of fill in this down here. And then we just mush in the stuff up here. I'm just going to try and get some stuff in here initially. We'll get it pressed down on top and then start pounding it in with the hammer. You would be surprised how much this stuff compacts in here. This really steady. And on this first side, you want to make sure that you really build it up and you have it nice and flush in the end with the outside edges. Because think about it, you're gonna flip it over and put the other half on it, and then you're gonna be pounding on the other half. So you don't want there to be any give to it when you're done on this half. Otherwise, you're going to end up pushing it back through. You don't know what that. And then once you get to this point is where you want to, I use just like a drywall spatula. I just want to take off slowly at layers so that we're not taking too much off. I try to keep pressure out here on the edges where the metal is and not press in the middle, because I want to leave it with the flat surface there as much as possible. All right, I think that looks good. So then once we're at this point, we're going to flip it over. Oh, and our mold came out. So not all is lost. We can get it back in. We just want to make sure we're putting it in the right way. Drop it in the hole. And I'm going to hold it there, and I'm going to actually press in on the edges here, because we don't want any gap when we go to put the sand in from the other side. Otherwise, the sand from the other side will fill in that gap. And then you've got troubles getting stuff out. All right, so that looks good to me. The last thing I do is I just run my spoon around the edge here. I want to make sure that the sand is back away from the metal. Nothing's covering the metal, because we don't want there to be anything between the metal of the two sides. Okay, so just a little bit more press in there. As I turned it, I could see it. Okay, so that should be good. So now we just get our talc on this side. And yes, I use a brush here, mostly just so that I can kind of control how much talc I'm getting on it. I find that 1 or 2 brushes worth of talc out of the bag is sufficient. And I'm just going to try and make sure I have all the, don't have excessive amount of talc on the back of the mold piece here. And we're in business for getting the other side going. We don't have to end up with quite as much sifted sand on the back side here because we do have a little bit of stuff printed on there, but it's not the same kind of detail that was on the front side. So I usually just sift a little bit of sand, enough that I know it's going to cover sufficiently. And then I go ahead with the secondary sand. Oh, hold on a second. I like to kind of tighten that down in there before I pull it apart. That looks like it turned out really pretty good there. I'm just going to press and tighten the sand in there and where we're creating the sprue. So I have sand coming off when we pour. And then again, I like to use my screwdriver to help me create the rest of the sprue. So I'm just going to put the flat edge right up against the block, and I'm just going to press down until I'm about past where the printed block ends. Just going across to try and make it kind of even all the way across. And that gives me a nice flat area to use the hacksaw against afterwards also. So that's good. And we're going to do similar here. Just using the edge of the bar as the guide, the image of the edge of the bar. And then I had been making long lines for airlines. I haven't been having lots of luck with that. So last time I tried this, and this actually seemed to work pretty good. I'm just going to make a thicker line with my screwdriver right down against where the block is. Kind of angling it up a little bit, just kind of with the idea that maybe air will go in there, but the silver won't flow up it so much. That gives me some good air pockets around it. And then of course, the last thing we do is grab some of our electric tape. And actually I grabbed some of the used stuff first. And with the used stuff, I'll just try and pick up the talc and anything else that might be loose debris on there that makes it so it doesn't stick too much. We'll grab our new piece. Lifting straight up. And I think that looks like it came out pretty good. So then the last thing I'm going to do is just make sure where I put these. Where I put these air slots in. That there isn't any edge of sand blocking it. All right, I think that looks good. We'll get this one off to the side here, and we'll come back, and I'm also going to put together this one to try and pour. So we'll be back in a bit. All right, I think we're ready. We got quite a bit of extra silver in there. All right. So I'm not sure how well this large one poured. Well, I see silver all the way down into that air crack there. So maybe it did okay. And that one looks like it poured really well. You know, it's really funny. You put those air cracks in. I can see silver in this one here, but none of the others. All right. Well, I got a couple rounds here that I'll probably practice stamping. And we'll go back into the remelt. All right, well, I think the special project round here turned out looking not too bad. It's actually a little thinner than I thought it was going to be. And looks like the back turned out pretty good too. We'll get it finished, cleaned up, and screw cut off and polished up, and we'll see how that one turns out. But I think I may be happy with that. Let's see how the Sleeping Dryad turned out here. Okay, well, in the bigger bar, I think she turned out pretty good. We'll take it in, we'll get it scrubbed and finished up, but I think that looks pretty good. So we'll see. I don't see any obvious voids or anything on the back. So, alrighty. Well, I'll be back later. All right, I'm back up. We've got its stuff cleaned off. I am going to show you the back of this one. I think it turned out pretty good with the casting, the 1 of 1 and the 999 fine silver. And look at the blue toning this one ended up getting. Most of it's more of a grayish, but there's just edges that are kind of blue. The front of it didn't get very much blue, but I think that it turned out really well. So that one is a special project that I'm going to be sending off to somebody. So I don't want to show it quite yet. I want them to kind of be surprised. And Here's the other one that I did. I think that this one turned out pretty exceptional, actually. So the back is really kind of cool with the purples and blues in the toning there. And this is how the front turned out. Almost more golden hues, almost like the Sleeping Dryad. So my wife and I were discussing what the bar should be named. That was her idea, was Sleeping Dryad. I was thinking Dryad in silver, or maybe just the Sleeper. But wow, this one I think turned out really kind of exceptional. I really like this. I'm curious how much this one comes in at on weight. 2.28. So actually not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be closer to 3 ounces. 2.28. Boy, that is a cool bar. On top of that, I have something to show you. If you've watched my channel or some of the other channels that are opening, you've seen that I 3D print these type of cases. So like this is one that would fit Tweety here, and I'd been printing this in here just as a recess to get the logo so it was closed, you know, Tweety doesn't fall into there, but the logo's in there. But I'd seen people trying to use this. In this case, it might work as a display, kind of. I mean, but you're taking up a lot of room with that. And what I thought I'd do is I'd try something new. So I found this design, and you can see it's slanted here so that it will sit flat, slanted here so that it will sit flat, and then you have your 2 notches. So you just fit your 2 notches together and you end up with a stand for your bars. So it fits well with bars that are larger, you know, or even Tweety size. Sideways 1 ounce. The only thing it doesn't really fit well with, it kind of can fit, but it's really close on the edge, is the 1 ounce bars in vertical format. But what I did was so you saw how this was 2 parts. I'm going to send them out with new cases like this. So I've printed this, for instance, would fit Pikachu here. And we send this out as the bar case. You can open it up and then you just pull them out, pull the 2 pieces out, and you're still left with the case. It's got a design in it, but I kind of thought with the 2 colors it was kind of a cool design, even kind of pointing to your bar. So that's how I'll be sending out anything that comes with the case. The smaller 1 ounce bars I'm going to send out in these plastic capsules. They fit pretty perfectly, and I've designed them, and this is a slightly larger square corner, slightly thicker capsule than your standard capsules, to accommodate the thickness of the hand pours. And I think I've got it down pretty good to where I can pour those size bars to fit the capsules. So those I'll send out with the capsules. Anything that's a larger bar, like Pikachu here, or Tweety, I might reprint this box for Tweety. I'm not sure. But anything that's a slightly bigger bar, then I'm going to send out with this new designs to send a stand with it. So anyways, that was what I've spent the last couple days coming up with and designing and getting put together. So there you go. That is our pour day here on Wednesday. Still, the toning on this one is just, you got some blue and purple right in here through the low spot, but you really pick up her face, I think, in this bar with the antiquing on it. So anyways, I am not sure. My wife had told me she wanted me to pour her one of the dragonflies for Mother's Day. She may see this and decide she wants this one instead, because this one really did turn out good, I have to say. So anyways, let me know what you think of that bar. And the other bar I poured tonight will be going to Space Miner. So I have to keep an eye out on his channel in the next week or so to catch his reveal of the bar. I'm not showing it here because he said to surprise him, so I don't want him to see it beforehand. So we'll send this out to him and let him open it up and be surprised. So alrighty, that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining me and for watching. I hope you enjoyed the pour video. Thank you for your likes and subscribes and any comments you can leave me. So catch you next time.